Hello everyone!
Hey guys!
And welcome to another episode of
Masse Art Studios.
I'm Lee.
I'm Jeremy.
Now, what's your New Year's resolution to start a new hobby? Have you always wanted to do acrylic fluid art and not had any clue where to start?
I have.
Well, we did 2.5 years ago. Well, this episode is for you. In today's episode, we're going to take you all the way through the basics of canvas prep, how to mix your paints, and then how to pour, hopefully, a masterpiece using 2 different techniques.
Yes.
What are you going to do, Show Pony?
I'm going to be doing something called a grenade pour.
And I'm going to do a straight pour, and we're both going to be using 20 by 20 inch canvases. Yep. We'll even tell you the difference between the different styles of canvases too.
Yeah.
So if you're real brand new to this, please come and watch, because you'll hopefully learn lots of hints and tips and tricks along the way. And if you're not new to fluid art, this will hopefully just be a refresher for you as well.
Yeah.
Now stick around until the very, very, very end, please, because we've got a special guest. Someone that we want to introduce you to.
Yeah.
All right, if you haven't already, please go check out www.fluidartexperience.com for everything fluid art that's going to be in Seattle.
Seattle, Washington.
April the 27th through the 29th.
So excited for that.
And in today's episode, we're using Mixed Media Girls pouring medium.
We are.
So you'll have all the details of where to get that through the episode too.
Yes.
All right, guys, sit back, enjoy this episode. And if you've got any questions or comments, don't forget to write them in the comment section down below. We answer every single one of them.
We do.
We'll see you at the end. Well, hello there, ladles and jelly spoons. If you're a regular on the channel and you've been following us for the past, 2.5 years, a lot of this will be stuff that you've seen a million times before. If you are a fluid art artiste, then a lot of this you'll know as well. But what we're doing in this episode is presuming that it's the new year, you thought you need a hobby, and you've decided to pick up fluid art.
Yes.
So we're going to take you through some of the basics very quickly that you're going to need to have, or you're going to need to know in order to start creating some fluid art masterpieces.
Exactly.
And if you've already seen this kind of stuff, there's nothing wrong with a quick refresher, right? Right, Show Pony?
Right.
Okay, so not everything I'm going to show you is essential. Not everything I show you is going to be a must-have, but I'm going to show you how we do it and then throw in some hints and tips as well.
Yes.
All right, let's start at the very, very, very basics. Okay, so one of the 2 things that you're going to need in order to make some acrylic fluid art is clearly a canvas.
A canvas.
A substrate, something to actually put your art upon.
Yeah.
And we like to use Artist Loft canvases, but there are many brands out there.
There is.
The Edge is some that we've used before. Glickhav, Zero. There's definitely tons of canvases. So it can be a little tricky thinking to yourself, well, what do I need? The honest answer is you don't need to have anything in particular. As long as it's a canvas, then you can pour on it. But there are 2 very different types of canvas. There are back stapled, and this is this one. This is where the canvas is just wrapped over the wooden frame and then it's stapled on the back. We use these for practices, just to basically kind of try out techniques. They're not canvases that we would ever sell. We don't believe here at Masse Art Studios that they are particularly kind of attractive, but if you're making art for yourself, if you're making art and you're a beginner, you might want to try these canvases because they're super inexpensive.
They are.
And this is what I would call a level 1 canvas.
Yes.
Right? It's in a value pack. You can kind of get them fairly inexpensively.
They usually come like 10 to a pack, that kind of thing.
Like that. Yeah, you can get tons of them. Now, these are then more professional canvases, and these are what you would call gallery wrapped. And it's gallery wrapped because there's no staples holding the canvas to the wooden frame. It's tucked neatly into the wood.
It is.
And there are 2 different types in Artist Loft of gallery wrapped canvases, a level 2 and a level 3. And the only difference in these 2 levels is the thickness of the canvas. Now, if you want to see the composition running down the side and that is attractive to you, you might want the level 3s.
Yeah.
But if you don't, and you want to go a little cheaper, then there's a level 2.
Yeah, but the level 2s are really, the gallery wrapped are really great to frame.
They absolutely are. You have to buy very specific frames if you want to gallery wrap if you want to frame a level 3.
Yes.
Because they're deeper. But you can kind of get frames everywhere for the level 2s.
Exactly.
So there's 3 different choices as a canvas. You've got value, you've got level 2s, you've got level 3s. Next, you want to prepare the canvas for you to be able to pour up on it.
Prepare?
Exactly. Well, let me show you what I mean. So this is a 20 by 20 level 3 canvas.
Yes.
Because we sell about 90% of what we make.
Yeah.
We like the level 3s. They are the most expensive, and therefore when we're selling our art, we think that that's what you guys should have. And what you can see I've done here with some blue frog tape is just put a border around the back of the canvas. So it originally came like this, just white, and I've put frog tape on it. Chopin, why do I do that?
That way it leaves a nice clean edge around the whole thing.
The paint will drip.
Yes.
I will grab the back of this frame as
Yes.
I'm tilting it with gloved fingers that have got paint all over them. So this allows us then to peel off the tape, and it's kind of nice and crisp underneath.
Exactly.
It's not essential. You might want to paint the back of it. You might
Yeah.
back the back of it with brown paper or
Yeah.
whatever you want to do, but this is how we prefer to prepare our canvases. Now in this box right here, there is a plethora of giant push pins, which you can get on Amazon. And this is just a push pin that is bigger than a normal push pin. It's a giant push pin. It's what, 1.5 inches
Yeah.
high?
Yeah.
Why do we need these? You don't need these. You could actually place 4 plastic cups on the table and rest the canvas on it.
Yes.
But the object here is to raise the canvas off the table.
Exactly.
Why do we do that, Chopin?
Because what happens is that if you don't have push pins or you don't place them on cups, what happens is that the paint it'll run off the canvas and it'll just stick to the floor.
It will. It basically will stick to whatever it is that you're pouring on. Even if you pour on plastic, you'll get kind of like a lipped edge of paint, and then you have to cut it off. And
well, a lot of times that won't dry. The dripping is around the painting.
Right.
So when you go to grab the painting, it'll just smush and it'll mess up the sides of your canvas because the paint's still not dry on the floor.
so as you can see here now, I've got this canvas and it will be about 1.5 inches raised above the table, allowing me to scrape the edges underneath of my composition.
Yes.
And B, allowing it to dry without those silly edges.
Yes.
Next, this canvas has been one that we've had in the studio for a little while, and it is fairly tight, if I'm honest.
It is tight, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very nicely stretched canvas. Sometimes you'll buy these and they'll be a little wrinkled on the edges.
Yes.
And that's because the canvas is not stretched tightly enough on the wooden bars.
Exactly.
And there's a way to fix that real easy. This is just a spray bottle full of water.
Water.
Water. Water of the gods. And I'm just going to spray the back of this anyway, fairly generously, with water. Now, someone's asked me very recently in the comments, how much water do you need to put on here? It actually doesn't matter, because whatever you put on the back is going to dry.
Yeah.
You can run this under the tap,
Yeah.
force it,
I know a lot of people who do that.
and just swirl it around, and then it will dry, and it will dry nice and tight. But what you will hear is that tight like a drum.
Tight like a drum.
Yes, show pony. And the reason, tell me why you want it nice and tight. Why do you want this tight?
So that way the paint doesn't pool in the center of the canvas.
Yeah, imagine pouring this beautiful composition all over this canvas, and then suddenly what is here starts slipping back down to the middle.
Which I have had
I'm sure we have.
several times.
Many a time. That would be just plain terrible. So the reason why we spray it and make this nice and tight is for that reason.
Yes.
And you saw that our push pins were very well used. Some of these have got little bits of resin on them, some of them have got paint stuck to them, all sorts of stuff. One thing that I will do, I always do, is just make sure this canvas is level.
Yes.
For the similar reason, if I pour a beautiful composition, I don't want what's up here to start slipping down the canvas.
We have found out the hard way that our floor in the garage is not completely level.
Absolutely.
And
It slopes this way. So, there's certain parts in the garage that if we put a canvas flat on the floor,
Yeah.
the composition actually will slip off the top
Yes.
of it. So, having been doing this for a couple of years now, we know where to pour.
yeah.
Where to store our canvases to
Yeah.
dry. Okay, now because this canvas is not going to be on this table for very long, I'm comfortable with the way that it's currently sitting.
Yeah.
So that is my canvas, backed, pinned, sprayed. I've chosen which style of canvas I want. On my table, I've got black plastic.
Yes.
because I'm going to pour paint all over the place.
Yeah.
If you're pouring in a kitchen, if you're pouring in a spare bedroom, if you're pouring somewhere that you don't have kind of like a decent surface you can mess up, just think about how you're going to protect it.
Now, the black plastic comes in rolls at Home Depot or Lowe's.
Yeah.
And it usually comes in like a 25-foot roll or something, and it's usually like $15, I think.
We cut it so that it fits the table.
Yes.
But there are other options.
There are.
You could pour on parchment paper, wax paper. You could use puppy pea pads, which we used for about 2 years when we first started pouring, because you can just roll them up and dispose of them accordingly. You could pour on silicone mats to keep the skins of the paint once it's dry. All sorts of things that you can do.
Now, the reason why we chose to switch to the plastic underneath the paintings is so that we can scrape off the excess paint, save it in a bucket, and we use that as flow extender, or you know.
We might be jumping ahead of ourselves a little there in terms of what a flow extender. No, absolutely. What you said was absolutely right.
Yeah.
But people at home will be thinking, what's a flow extender? Well, we will get there. But you're right, Show Pony. It allows us to collect the runoffs from anything that lands on the table.
Yes.
The plastic will allow us to do that, whereas the puppy pads wouldn't.
Exactly.
So we've now got a surface that's fit for pouring. We've got a canvas to pour upon.
Yes.
What's next?
What's next is the paints.
All right, so we've got our canvas.
Yes.
Now let's look at the acrylic paints.
Yes.
Right? So we've got just a couple of the brands here on the table.
Yes.
But there are hundreds of brands of paints. We've got Artezas, we've got Amsterdams, and we've got Deco Arts.
Yes.
Okay. And within these tubes of acrylic paint, there are then different styles. You've got pearls, you've got metallics, you've got all sorts of different kind of types of paint. That would be more of an advanced kind of conversation, I think. I think what we're going to do for this basic kind of how am I going to pour a piece of acrylic fluid art, we're going to keep it fairly straightforward and just tell you that what you're going to need here is some kind of acrylic paint.
Yes.
Yes, Show Pony.
Now, I was just going to mention that the pearls have like that sheen to them.
Yeah.
And like the other ones are just like a plain flat paint.
Yeah, I think what Show Pony's trying to say is that the pearlescent does what it says on the tube. It is pearlescent.
Yes.
So it's got a nice shine to it, just like the metallics.
Yes.
Right? And then in the other kind of colours here, like this orange, for example, you have different styles of orange. You'll have opaque, semi-opaque, and translucent.
Yes.
Again, probably more of an advanced conversation than we need to have at this point. All I'm going to ask you guys to do right now is just pick some acrylic paint in the colours that you like.
Yes.
Right? But then you're probably thinking to yourself, well, this is super thick. How on earth am I going to get this to a point where I can pour this onto my canvas? So I've picked a range of acrylic paints that I really love. What do I need next? You need a pouring medium.
Yes.
Now, you will find that if you watch a ton of videos, what you'll hear everyone talk about is this stuff. This is Floetrol. And it's actually not sold as a paint pouring medium, it's actually sold as a paint conditioner. Professionals use this in spray painting machines and in rolling machines to extend the volume of their paint. And this does exactly that. It also self-levels, it dries clear. There's some really, really good reasons why people use this professionally. But fluid artists pick this up and were like, well, actually, this works for us too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to mix my acrylic paints with a pouring medium to get them to a point where I can then use that and manipulate it onto a canvas using a million different techniques. Now, there are a million different pouring mediums, just like there are a million different acrylics. We're going to use today Mixed Media Girl's pouring medium.
Yes.
Now this is a pouring medium. This has been designed specifically with a view to be mixed with acrylic paints so that you can use this in acrylic pouring art. Amsterdam has them, or Master's Touch has one. You're looking for pouring mediums.
Where can you get that specific pouring medium?
Where can you? Well, you tell me, Show Pony.
It's mixedmediagirl.com.
It is. www.mixedmediagirl.com is exactly where you can get that pouring medium. So I've got a pouring medium, I've got my acrylic paint. Next I need to mix the two together. So in order to do that, I've got my little pots here. And these are plastic cups, solo cups, Dixie cups, whatever you might have handy in the house. I've got a popsicle stick or a craft stick or something in order to mix my two products together.
Yeah, you can use the silicone sticks if you want to, to reuse and recycle.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing.
Anything just to mix here, but clearly this is paint, so you can't use this then on food afterwards.
Yes.
But what I've done now is I've taken in this instance, my Arteza Pearl Electric Blue. I've mixed that with Masse's or Mixed Media Girls pouring medium, and now I've got this delicious pouring consistency. It's going to allow me to now create some art. Now, what's the ratio of paint to pouring medium that I'm going to need? Now, there are a lot of different techniques within fluid art, and each one of them will have a different consistency. So you've got to pick the consistency first, and then you'll mix your product accordingly. This is mixed 25 to 30% paint, and then about 70 to 75% pouring medium. And there's no water in here. This is just pouring medium and acrylic paint. And that's going to serve as well for the two techniques that Jeremy and I are going to pour next.
Yes.
But if you wanted to do a Dutch pour, you would then add some water to that to thin it down.
Yes.
If you wanted to do a ring pour, you might decide to either keep it that consistency or make it a little thicker. What I would advise you guys to do is pick your technique first, do some research on YouTube, hear what recipes the artists that are showing you the technique prefer, and then just follow that recipe.
Absolutely.
The key here though is consistency.
Yes.
You want to have every single colour, every single pot of paint the same consistency. So my orange is the same consistency as my blue, which is the same consistency as my yellow, which is the same consistency as my green.
Yes.
Reason being, wow. Reason being, that's a heavy bottle of paint.
It is a heavy
Reason
bottle.
being because I'm going to tilt this canvas to create my composition, I don't want one of those paints being thinner than the other.
Yeah.
If it is, it will create
jagged lines.
Yeah, like things on this canvas that I really don't want. Now that might be something you want to ever try it intentionally, and if that's the case, have at it. But what I suggest, if you've got 6 paints, they're all the same consistency. If you've got 12 paints, they're all the same consistency.
Yes.
Yeah? So, plastic cups, popsicle sticks, you've got paint, you've got pouring medium, I've got my canvas all backed and pinned, I've now got my table covered. I'm going to put on some rubber gloves. Again, not a necessity. You might like to feel the paint with your fingers. But Show Pony and I do create a lot of art. Well, we don't want to get our hands too messy, so this is definitely going to help me in that endeavour. And the Show Pony does not like to get paint on his fingers. So that's the reason why I've got my rubber gloves. I am going to do a straight pour on this canvas.
Okay.
And what is a straight pour? Now again, I'm going to assume that you've watched some kind of fluid art, that this isn't your very first episode. If it is, welcome. And we hope that you're going to be as obsessed as we are. But a straight pour is basically taking the paint in the cup and pouring it straight onto the canvas. And I'm going to probably change the direction that I pour the paint, and I might change the height of the cup. My cup, my receptacle, what I'm going to use in order to pour the paint onto the canvas is going to stay still. Jeremy, what technique are you going to do?
I'm going to be doing a grenade pour.
Ooh, something very different. Okay, so 2 techniques that we're going to show you here with the same consistency of paint.
Yes.
All right, let's get to getting the paint in this cup in a way in which I'm then going to be able to pour it onto my canvas. Okay, so Show Pony, I've got a plethora of colours here, and I'm going to take you through these colours as I pour them into my pot. Okay?
Yes.
So, I'm going to think about my straight pour here, and the first thing that I'm going to put in the bottom of my cup is some Pearl Blue by Amsterdam.
That's so pretty.
Now, you'd say to yourself, well, it's not blue, it's white. Well, it has a pearlescent blue sheen to it, and if you dry this colour onto a dark background, it actually will dry completely blue.
Yes.
Craziness. I put a little bit of 24 karat gold in there, which is a deco art paint. Now I'm going to put a little bit of blue. And now I'm just kind of using these colours that I have in front of me here to layer this cup. Shoponi, tell everyone what a layered cup means versus other different techniques.
Well, whenever you're doing a straight pour, and you're going to layer your paint just like you're doing right there, and what happens is you're just going to put one layer of paint on top of the other, and it pushes the paint forward, and it makes these great different colors of layers of paint.
As opposed to?
As opposed to what I'm going to be doing, which is the grenade pour. And the grenade pour is, I put a little bit of white paint in the bottom of the cup, just like you did, but then I pour from up high. I pour like a little bit of the paint at a time into the cup to pierce the white paint and then pierce the other colors, and then pour that out that way. I flip the cup and pull the pin.
Absolutely, you'll get to that in a second. But
Yes.
there are many different ways of getting the paint into a cup.
Yes.
That will be specific to the technique that you might be trying to replicate. But I am absolutely doing that. I'm just layering my colours down the side of the paint, and as you can see, what it's doing is pushing them one at a time out into this cup. I've got a concoction here of like a Prussian blue, I've got Pearl Electric blue, I've got King's blue, I've got a lovely pistachio green here, which is an Arteza paint.
Now that Deco Art Metallic Golds, that has been known to what's called a cell, which makes these beautiful buttery like cells on the canvas. It makes these like amazing things, and I'm sure that that's going to be seen whenever he pours it out onto the canvas.
Well, let's hope that that's the case indeed. Now I've got a 20-ounce cup here, and I'm going to be using all of the 20 ounces because I've got a 20 by 20 inch canvas. Shoponi, there is a calculation that can be used in order to determine how much paint you're going to need as a guide on your canvas. Can you remember what that is?
Yes, it's length times width.
Yes.
Divided by 28.
Absolutely. So this will be 20 by 20 divided by 28, and that will give me an idea of the amount of paint that I need on this canvas. And in this instance, I'm going to use this 20-ounce cup here. All right, sir, I'm going to now straight pour this onto this wonderful canvas. All right, I'm ready when you are, Shoponi. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Well, then let's do it. So, as I explained earlier, straight pouring is literally going to be just pouring this paint straight from the cup. And in this instance, I'm using just the bare canvas. I haven't put anything on it at this point.
Got it.
I'm moving my hand from side to side because, as you can see, as I come closer to the canvas, I'm kind of creating ribbons, but as I move higher from the canvas, then I kind of create a more blended composition. And then I'm going to just grab the end of that paint at the very end and just lift up the cup.
Yes.
Now I did dribble slightly into the composition at the very end. I could absolutely leave this where it is right now and just pour this one out, but I got this blue squiggle at the very end here. I'm going to just incorporate that back into
The composition.
into my pour. Yeah, thank you, Shoponi. I was kind of concentrating on what I was doing and forgot to talk. Okay. All right. So I've got this straight pour now on this wonderful canvas. Next, I'm going to try and get this composition on this canvas in a way in which I absolutely love. So in order to make this paint or allow this paint move along this canvas, I'm going to pick this up and tilt it left and right, backwards and forwards. But if I were to tilt this paint now on this canvas, on this raw canvas, what's going to happen is my colours are just going to roll over each other. So this orange will roll over the blue and this blue will roll over the orange, losing everything that's on here.
Yeah.
Right? So in order to then help me now just get this composition across this canvas and keep as much of this as I can, I'm going to use a flow extender. Jeremy, explain what a flow extender is.
Well, flow extender is whenever you pour, you're going to pour that white paint around the paint that's already on the canvas.
Right.
And then you're going to just spread it out over all the rest of the canvas.
Right.
And what that's going to do is whenever you start to tilt, that paint, that white paint is going to act as a buffer against the canvas, and it's going to allow that other paint to slide right over it, so you don't lose any of your other colors in your composition.
Now, does a flow extender have to be white?
It does not. It can be any color because you're going to flow right over it.
Okay. And a flow extender doesn't even have to be kind of expensive paint from the tube, because acrylic paint is kind of expensive, right?
Oh yeah.
Right, so I could use, like we might have talked about earlier, the drippings that are on the canvas on the table here on this plastic, right?
Yeah. And
next, show pony, I see tons of bubbles in this thing. What have I got to do next?
well, to get rid of the bubbles, you're going to use a torch.
Okay.
And you can get these. You can get them at Home Depot. You can get them at like any kind of cooking stores. And the reason why you use a torch is that you're going to pop these bubbles, so that way when it dries, it doesn't leave a bunch of pock marks in the dried result.
Okay, so I'm going to pop these before I
Yes.
actually start my pot, and I'm probably going to keep popping these over the course of the next 15-20 minutes
Oh, yeah,
as well.
totally.
Just to make sure that everything on here is popped. Now this is a creme brulee torch, which is like a chef's torch that you
Yeah.
can purchase. Look at this bad boy. This is a barbecue starter. I'm going to use this one instead.
Now, I would suggest starting out with the little handheld torch, so
This is Jeremy's favourite.
that way you don't like have the chance of
Taking off someone's eyebrows.
taking off someone's eyebrows or scorching the paint.
Right, yeah, I don't know if you could see that. You probably couldn't, as I torched my bubbles, but the flame never touched the paint.
Yeah, no, the flame never
It's
touches
just
the
the
flame.
heat from the torch just popped the bubbles.
Exactly.
And I'll do that again a couple of times at least during the tilt in this pour. All right, next the fun part.
Yes.
Now I'm going to get my gloved hands dirty. Now I'm going to get this paint all over this canvas. So I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to tilt the canvas to a point which I'm really happy with the composition. Now there's the plastic on the table because things are going to run off. I'm going to lose things, I'm going to keep things, I'm going to see how things open up. This now is your creativity. This is where your creative mind comes in. I'm going to say to you that as soon as you get the paint over the edge of the canvas, it won't roll off anymore unless you continue to kind of tilt it off. But that's called anchoring the paint.
Yes.
I might anchor this orange on this corner of the canvas and then stretch everything else back so I open up everything that's under that orange.
Yes.
But I'm not going to talk you through this tilt. I'm going to just kind of show you how I do it. And because this really is now up to you in what you're wanting to see, what you're wanting to have as an end result. But let's get tilting this one, because here in the studio it is now
Tilting time.
let's tilt this bad boy out. Okay, let's get this canvas all over this. Let's get the paint all over this canvas. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I like this. You know, you look at these colours on the table, and as I was laying them into the cup, you might have thought to yourself, what in the heck? But because the paints are mixed to a certain consistency, there is some blending, and then there's some solid colours here too.
Yeah.
And I put them into the cup in a way in which I really wanted some of the colours to blend, and some of them would stay separate. But I really like this. With the straight pour, what you get are these really beautiful kind of fingerlings, they're called. It's like fingers wrapping around the composition. I love my kind of brighter middle, the dark murky kind of sea green over here with the fiery orange and this lovely blue in this side. So in terms of how I went into this pour, it's kind of very similar to what I was hoping for, but I hope you like it too. Next, now that I've spread this composition out, there's a few things I've got to do. Show pony, one of them is torch this off again.
Yep.
Gotta say, I love Masse's pouring medium in this pour.
Right.
I think it's really helped me get a stunning composition. So I just torched her off again. Now I'm going to take my craft stick, popsicle stick, whatever you have, and I'm going to run this under the edge of my canvas. Show pony, why am I doing this?
Well, you're doing that because what happens is that if you don't catch the drippings off the edges, it will keep pulling the composition off of your canvas.
That's right. This paint is fluid, and this here is going to continue to drip over the edge. As it drips down the canvas, it's going to continue to pull that blue off the top of my canvas here, and I don't want that to happen. I want everything that's on this canvas to stay as it is. If my corners were bare and white, I would then take what I've got on this popsicle stick here and just, you know, use it to cover up the corners. But I think all my corners are fine, Show pony. I don't think I need to play around with any of them at all. So this, folks, is it. I'm now going to put this canvas somewhere safe to dry. I've got another piece of plastic on the garage floor. I'm going to put it there, and in 24, 48, or even maybe, you know, 72 hours, this painting will be dry, and then I can decide what I want to do with it next.
Yeah, depending on what the temperature is outside and that kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah. People will say, how long will it take to dry? Because it looks like you've poured a ton of paint on this canvas. But if you're in a kind of normal 60 to 70 without a ton of humidity, kind of temperate condition, it's probably going to be, what, 2 days, 24 hours, 2 days?
Yeah, 24 hours usually.
Yeah. We're cold here in Dallas right now, so it's going to take a little longer. But that's it, that's me done. Show pony, you're up next.
I am, yeah.
But before we get to that, let me take you in for a close-up.
Yes.
Alright, so we talked about this at the very beginning. We've got this black plastic here now on the table. These were all the runoffs from the pour that I just created. And I'm going to catch all of this in this cup on the edge of my table, and then just wipe up any of the tiny bits of residue that are on here, because I'm going to use this as a flow extender in the future.
Nice. Hey guys, it is Jeremy here, your show pony.
Let me tell you a quick story. People always say, why is he called the show pony? Well, when I first met Jeremy many moons ago, and I would ask him to do something for me, cheekily he would say, I'm a show pony, not a workhorse. And so then I got him a t-shirt that said, I'm a show pony, not a workhorse, and he stupidly wore it on the channel once, and then everyone then started calling him the show pony.
Yes.
So that's the reason why we call him the show pony. We still get comments to this day from people asking why. Yeah, I love it. Okay, go for it, show pony.
All right, I got my gloves.
Right.
You guys have already been introduced to all this stuff, so I'm going to put my gloves on. I got my canvas taped and pinned on the back.
Right.
And so I have my cup here, and my pen. I'm going to be doing what's called a grenade pour.
Probably one of the easiest techniques. You might want to start with this one rather than the straight pour, but you know, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this pin into the cup here, just like so. And then I'm going to pour my paint from up high into the cup.
Okay.
So I'm going to pour into some white. I'm going to use this pearl blue here.
And people will be thinking, why are you sticking a pin in your cup? Well, all will be revealed.
Yes.
Now, Jeremy is not pouring down the side of his cup. He's pouring just straight into the middle of his cup.
Yes.
And you'll see exactly why that is the case shortly too.
Exactly.
Now, I forgot to talk about the colours because I was so focused on pouring. As you put these in there, I'm going to tell everyone what they are.
Okay, all right. I'm going to start with this.
So that was actually a concoction of my own. It started off as cyan, primary cyan, which is a blue colour, the other blue on the table, in fact, and I mixed a bit of black to it. So it is actually now a Prussian blue. It's a very, 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 very dark, deep navy blue.
Yes. And then I'm going to go with the lighter blue.
That is actually the Pearl Electric Blue. That's an Arteza acrylic paint.
Yes. Then I'm going to go in with...
That is Pearl Pastel Green, another Arteza paint.
Yes.
All of these mixed with the same Mixed Media Girl pouring medium, which gave stunning results on that straight pour. This is actually an Amsterdam paint, Jeremy's favourite colour. In fact,
orange.
It's vermilion.
Oh, I love that vermilion. I really do.
This one is a concoction of my own. It is two paints mixed together. It is Pearl Golden Hour by Arteza, and then I added some deep yellow to it to take it out of that yellow tone.
Yes. Now I'm going to add some of the gold.
24 karat. This is a Deco Art paint. It's actually a metallic paint that people use to paint furniture and outdoor kind of stuff. It's metallic 24 karat gold. This is Yellow Green by Arteza.
I like this yellow green.
Yeah, me too. It's a really pretty colour.
Which one did I...
You haven't used this one yet. This is actually just the Amsterdam's cyan blue on its own.
Okay.
And what Jeremy was doing as I was talking through there was just pouring these paints up high, and what that's doing then is piercing the other paints in the pot.
Yes.
And he's doing that with all these colours.
I am. I think I got every single color in there. Did I use this one?
You did.
I used it.
You've used them all.
I think I used them all. Well,
do you want to fill that cup, or are you happy with it?
I'm happy with it. It is almost full. It's
Tippy top.
Yeah, to the tippy top. And let me show you with this.
So some of those colours have blended, some of them will stay true, and as you'll see as he gets these paints onto the canvas, pouring them in onto each other from up high does not just create grey mud.
Exactly.
Hopefully you'll see that in a second.
Yes.
Now, you're going to have to do something I didn't do, which was put a base coat down on your canvas, correct?
I am. I'm going to put a base coat down.
Now, I put a flow extender around my composition. I poured my composition onto a dry canvas and then put a flow extender around it.
Yes.
Jeremy, what are you doing?
Now, I'm going to do what's called a base coat. And that is actually, I'm going to pour it right here in the center, pour a bunch of paint here, and then I'm going to spread this out over the entire canvas.
Got it.
And I'm going to be using what's called an oxo spatula to do this.
That is actually an omelette flipper.
It is an omelette flipper.
Kanella Ciraco, a wonderful, talented artiste, the Dutch pour mistress, actually was the person that we first saw using this oxo spatula. Because it's silicone, the acrylic paint just wipes right off it.
Right off of it. Okay, so now that I have my base coat down, I'm going to go ahead and flip this cup onto the canvas.
Now, if this didn't have a pin in it, it would be called a flip cup.
Yes.
But you've got a pin in the bottom.
I do have a pin in the bottom.
Now, what advice would you give to anyone who's going to flip a 20-ounce cup of fluid acrylic paint onto a canvas?
I would kind of keep my elbow in, and it's all in the wrist. You just want to go ahead and just 1, 2, 3, and flip.
Perfect. So you didn't paint the kitchen, the garage, the tabletop, anything.
Yeah.
There's a little paint that's spilled out there, but it would be impossible to get this not to.
Yes, exactly.
Now, why was there a pin in this cup?
Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this pin out, and it's going to release the pressure that's in the cup and make the paint move out onto the canvas from the inside of the cup.
Yeah, the air that's rushing in through the hole will push
that paint out.
And then it will also create a really fun composition by being pushed on the lip of the cup.
Yes.
Okay, let's see it.
All right.
Are you going to make a noise this time?
3, 2, 1. Okay, so as you can see, the paint has just moved across the canvas. The cup moved and it left this really cool composition. Now what I'm going to do is called a lip.
Okay, what's a lip?
A lip is whenever I take the cup, I pull it up, and I use the edge of the lip of the cup to drag through my paint to make an extra composition on it, an extra design.
You're going to wreck the actual composition
I am.
using the lip of the cup. Okay. Any more lipping? Ooh. Consider it lipped.
Consider it lipped. I love how it dragged that blue out from underneath.
It really did.
It did. Now I'm going to go ahead and torch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to use this torch.
The baby torch.
Yeah.
You might be there for some time.
Okay, so now that I have my lip done and everything's happening, there's these great cells that are popping up everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and stretch this out.
Okay.
And see what kind of composition happens.
What time is it?
It is tilting time.
Let's tilt this bad boy out.
Okay, I'm going to turn it this way.
Now come on the ground, everybody's looking for you now. And they're hunting you down in your own town. They're trying to chase you out, and who knows what you've done now. Yeah, you look a little thin, I bet you run quick. Reach down to block 26, they'd never go for it. Hold your breath for the countdown, yeah, it starts now. I'll tell you when to let go of it. Let go. How could you? From the night before, where we had it out, what was it all for? What was it all for? And I am left with the darkness of your eyes, and we both know it comes as no surprise. Bring me back to life. As the lightning strikes, I'm blinded by your yellow light. Your poison is sweet. You can take me however you like. However you. How could you walk away?
All right.
Ooh.
I am loving this.
You know what it looks like?
What's that?
Jeremy's been playing Subnautica on the PlayStation. It looks like a topography of some underwater
It
caverns.
does. It's so pretty. I'm loving the cells that are coming up. This gold is popping through in places. I got some cells going all through here. This green's popping up through here. I love the blue. I think this came out so great.
I loves it.
I love it.
Yeah, me too. Really, really pretty. Well done.
All right, so I'm gonna get my edges.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take you guys in for a close-up.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Would never turn you down or try and shut you out. Take me back to when I once was your prey.
Okay. So there you have it, folks.
There you have it.
All right, we're going to explain who this fool is in a second.
Yes.
Hopefully you learned something through that episode. If you have any questions or comments, please just leave them down below. We'll promise to get to every single one of them. All right, so we've had this piece, beautiful, wondrous piece
Gorgeous piece.
of art behind us for a while now, and everyone always says to us, who did it? Where did you get it from? This guy. This is David Marvel.
Hi guys.
The talented David Marvel, you guys.
How long have you two been friends?
Too long. No, that's not the right answer. Sorry.
Since 2003. 2005?
I moved to LA in 2005.
Then that's 2005.
Since you were babies.
Yes, I was literally, I mean, that's a long time ago, obviously.
Right. How long have you been painting?
Well, I did not pick up a paintbrush until I was 30. I painted 3 paintings, and then I didn't paint for 10 years.
Right.
So I've been painting consistently for, oh God, do the math. 2011 is when I started again.
10, 11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 10 years, let's
Okay,
say.
crazy. Awesome stuff. You can find all of David's work, previous works, on his website,
Yes.
which is,
davidmarvel.us.
and that's DAVIDMARVEL.
V is in Victor. V is in Victor.
V is in Victor.
EL.
.us.
Correct.
That's davidmarvel.us.
Exactly.
One more time, davidmarvel.us.
So please go check him out. You don't have a YouTube channel or other social medias, right?
No, but if you guys keep hounding me, I might do it.
Well, we are trying to get you there.
Yes.
But David will take commissions, and he's done some wonderful, amazing, fabulous
just
pieces.
beautiful pieces.
Thank
If you
you,
guys
guys.
check out his website, you will be
Stunning.
blown away. And they are paintings,
Right.
they are not photographs.
I gotta say, when Jeremy showed me the very first piece, when we first started dating, he was telling me all about his talented friend, David Marvel. And he showed me a picture of the dog
Yes.
that David had painted. And I didn't believe that it was a painting.
Even when I told him,
Yeah.
he didn't believe
I was
it,
like,
and
no.
I painted it.
It's not, it's an actual photograph.
And that is on my website.
It is. In fact, I'm going to take a clip of it and I'm going to put it in right here so that you can see it. This is a painting that David did. It's a beautiful piece.
Thank you guys.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for visiting and
Thank
Thank you
you.
for being here.
Thank
showing
you,
your
guys.
pretty face on camera. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, again, please put them in the comments. We'll be back on Tuesday
Be back on Tuesday.
for another episode. Until then, be safe and we'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye. DavidMarvel.us.
Yay.
So now it's time to spank the Patreons.
It is time to spank the Patreons.
And who are the Patreons? Well, they're a really special bunch of people.
Yes.
Who've decided to come and follow us outside of the YouTube channel. It's a completely separate account, and people can opt into different tiers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those different tiers allow people different rewards. So, for example, at one level, there's behind the scenes pictures and videos and sneak peeks of what we do in the studio. And then at another level, there is a once a month live stream exclusively just for those gold level patrons. And then at another level, they also get a once a month live tutorial.
Yes.
Where we might take an individual technique and walk through it step by step by step by step. So we really appreciate these guys because they're coming to us and supporting us outside of the channel. It means an awful lot to us.
It does mean a lot to us.
So we have some thank yous. And at that gold level, we have Trisha West, we have Terry Leshner, we have Tammy Housebrook, we have Stephanie Hancock, we've got Sharon Luffy, the wonderful Pocket Rocket Patsy Petrelli. We've got Nate Bright Art. We've got Mamadoulis. We have Linda Serieni. We've got Kelly Stowell of Feral Arts.
Yeah.
We've got Jane Klein and Gloria Salaki. We have Gillian Kennedy of
Yes.
Bell's Creations. We have Elizabeth Giuliano. We have Kathy J. And we have Amy, aka Crafty Chicken Mom.
Yes.
And
then on our platinum level, we have Susan Shepperson, Susan Chigori, Judith Jones Art, we have Janice Pittman, and we have Elaine Burton.
oh my gosh, we all know and love and's been with us pretty much from day one.
Yes.
As most of you have. So thank you so very much for being with us.
Yes.
We really genuinely do appreciate you and your support. It allows us the opportunity to keep painting and keep doing fun stuff for you guys. So thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
And to everyone else that's down here below, we honestly can't thank you enough. It really does mean the world to us. So thanks, guys.